Good morning, baseball fans. We had a lot of good baseball on yesterday, all day, basically. I got to say, I'm in quite the good mood. My Red Sox with a huge comeback win in Tampa last night. I am tired. I cannot talk. What is going on, everyone? How are we doing? Hello. Don't mind me. I'm still waking up over here. It was a long night last night. My Red Sox coming back in a huge way at Tropicana last night. And, I didn't get home till 2:30 in the morning last night. I am a little tired. So that's why we're here this morning talking some baseball. There was no way I was going live last night. Absolutely not. But big win for the Red Sox last night. Logan Webb and the Giants looking amazing last night. Braves, Brewers, really good game on yesterday. We got the Astros taking a commanding 2-0 series lead. We're going to talk about these games just for a little bit this morning, and I'm not going to keep you here too long. I know you guys got Saturday plans or whatever you got to get to today, but just wanted to kind of do a quick recap on yesterday's games. Everyone, welcome. I see we have around 50 people in the chat right now. Thank you for stopping by this morning. Hope you all have your coffee, your tea, whatever you have in the morning. But before I get started, if you are new, hit that subscribe button for me. Hit that like button for me, everyone. That's really going to help out the stream. Hit the bell notification so you get notified of all of the streams and videos for this coming postseason, and share the stream if you can. Also, we have memberships on the channel. If you're interested in becoming a member, go take a look over there. And also, we're partners with Dr. Squatch. If you want to go get 10% off your first order with some soaps, some shampoos, whatever it may be, go take a look at the link in the description down below. Alrighty, so everyone, let's get to it here. We got a lot of baseball to talk about I'm going to try and make it in a short amount of time. But here we go. Let's get the music ready for you guys. Here we go. So I feel like we should probably take a look at, let's just go to the first game from yesterday. Let's take a look at the White Sox and the Astros. Let's go take a look here, sharing the screen. But yeah, so this is actually a pretty good game early on. The White Sox doing exactly what they needed to do. They needed to just come out swinging. They needed to pick and choose their spots. With Framber Valdez, that's a guy that really relies, on the ground balls. He relies on the defense. He got a lot of good defense from the Astros yesterday. Altuve, guys in the outfield were stepping up for him. Just really good performance from the Astros defense yesterday. But the White Sox were out to an early lead, They jumped out to an early lead in the first inning. Astros ended up coming back there in the second. They chipped away. And it was kind of a tight game there. And then the White Sox piled on 3 more there in the fifth. And it was looking like maybe the White Sox were going to maybe be on their way, to tying up that series. But this Astros offense is just absolutely just phenomenal. So taking a look here. Hold on, I got my notes ready for you guys. But here is the problem, I think, of this game. Overall, I think this is where the White Sox lost this game. If we go take a look here in the 5th inning. So this is where the Astros ended up taking this is where they ended up tying it. And this is where I think they ended up losing it. Where is the 5th inning here? So if we take a look here, Lucas Giolito ended up getting replaced by a Garrett Crochet. They brought in Crochet for the lefty-lefty matchup against the Yordan Alvarez. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that move. Lefty-lefty matchup. Tough at bat for Yordan Alvarez, but he worked the walk. This is where I think, and let me know what you think down below in the comments, White Sox fans, but this is where I think you made a mistake. I think leaving Crochet in to face a Yuli Gurriel was the mistake of the game. That's just my personal opinion. If we go take a look at Yuli Gurriel's stats from this year. First off, this guy had a really good year this year. Hit .319, 15 homers, 81 RBIs. But the thing with Yuli Gurriel, if you take a look at how he does against left-handed pitching, did a little bit better against left-handers this year. And I just feel like leaving him in when, you could have maybe gone with a Tepera. I mean, even someone like Kimbrel. I mean, I know Kimbrel ended up coming in later on to give up some runs, but I felt like I would have felt a little more comfortable with a righty in that spot against a really good hitter in a Yuli Gurriel. That's just my opinion. I feel like that's where the White Sox lost the game. You had the momentum going for you, and that's just, you let the Astros just come back in. And And then ended up being that the Astros ended up taking the lead, and they did not give up. They did not give it up. They ended up exploding here in the 7th inning. Let's go to the 7th inning here. Let's just recap what the Astros did. Jose Altuve had himself a pretty good all-around game yesterday. Played some good defense. He was getting on base. Jose Altuve led it off with a single. Alex Bregman got the base hit there. Yordan Alvarez had a great game yesterday, getting just all the production yesterday. He's been actually just so good so far in this series. He's been very good. But yeah, they just were exploding. Correa, Kyle Tucker also had himself a really good game yesterday. He actually helped the Astros get back into it early on, hitting against the shift. I don't know. I don't know what the White Sox are thinking here. I know Tucker tends to pull a little bit more, but this guy's just been such a good hitter this year. I don't know. But then, hey, he did what he did, and he went against the shift, helping the Astros out early on. But overall, just a very good day from the Houston Astros. It just shows how deep this lineup is, how tough this lineup is to face. I mean, you cannot make a lot of mistakes against this Astros lineup. It's just too deep, even without a George Springer. Could you imagine if George Springer was still in this lineup? I mean, good grief. This lineup would just be so stupid. I mean, just even thinking about that blows my mind. But overall, just a lot of just good stuff from the Astros yesterday. And once again, the White Sox, they had a lot of chances. They did put up 4 yesterday, and they did have a lead at one point. But overall, you're leaving 20 guys on base. You're losing a lot of opportunities there. 20 guys left on base yesterday. That's what the Red Sox did against the Rays the other night. And obviously, you could see what happened in Game 1 with the Red Sox and the Rays. But you left 20 on. That's just not going to get it done. Grandal, he left 6 guys on himself. He needs to start producing here. You're the cleanup guy in the middle of that lineup. You got to start coming through. Top of the lineup was great. Anderson, Robert, 3 hits each. Abreu, 2 hits there. I mean, you got to start doing a little more here in the middle of this lineup towards the bottom as well. Not sure what Tony La Russa does with this lineup. I don't know. Do you maybe move? I don't know what you do here. I just think these Astros starting pitchers, they're just doing enough, and the bullpen is coming through. Like I said, Framber Valdez, they were aggressive with him. He didn't go very deep into this game. He didn't have a very great game. That's exactly what the White Sox needed to do. But then the Astros' weak point really stepped up for them. The Astros' bullpen is definitely the weak point of this team, but they came through when it mattered most, and they shut them down, especially with this White Sox team coming in, trying to make some things happen. You're playing desperation mode. Sure, they're going back home down 2-0, but I mean, yeah, sure, it's nice to, be in the comfort of home, but, the White Sox were trying to do a lot yesterday, and the fact that this Astros bullpen came up big for them, awesome job. Astros, in the end, they just look like the better team right now. They look like they deserve to be there. The White Sox, tons of talent. I don't know. This is pretty disappointing so far from the White Sox, but if we go take a look at the White Sox and the Astros for Game 3, as of right now, no starter announced for the Chicago White Sox. We can go, maybe go to the Googles, see if there's any. I would imagine Rodon could get a short start. I know he's been having the injuries. It's definitely possible you could go with him. Could you maybe start with a Dylan Cease and maybe have Rodon come in for maybe a few innings out of the bullpen? That would give him a little more time to warm up. I don't know what you do here, but as of right now, so it's either going to be Dylan Cease or Rodon. I wonder, it's very interesting. Let me know, White Sox fans, what you think. Who would you rather go with in a Game 3? Everyone, who would you rather go with? Would you rather go with a Dylan Cease or a Carlos Rodon? I feel like either option is going to be good. If you want to get a deeper start, maybe a Dylan Cease. Rodon, you're not going to get a lot of innings out of. So maybe you go with a Cease and a Rodon out of the bullpen. That's just, but then again, Rodon's just been so good this year. So maybe you just go with him as an opener. You can have Cease come out of the bullpen. So either way, I think you're going to have these are going to be the 2 main guys for you. And I think that's a really good situation for the White Sox. You got 2 really good guys going for you. And so, we'll have to wait and see what the White Sox end up doing. But obviously, it's a do or die situation for the Chicago White Sox, and they do have the advantage of going up against a young, Luis Garcia. Can they take advantage of a young guy, first time in the postseason? But hey, he's been pretty good this year. And the Astros, they've had some young guys step up for them in the past. Look at someone like a Framber Valdez last year, doing pretty well in the postseason last year. So have to wait and see how this turns out. I mean, I don't know. My predictions are just not going so good. I thought the White Sox would come out, fire back against the Astros in this game. But hey, look what ends up happening. Astros taking a 2-0 lead. And you would think that the White Sox going back home, you're going to have whoever it ends up being, if it ends up being Rodon or Cease getting the start, or if it ends up being both getting some action in tomorrow's game, you got to imagine the White Sox win this game, tomorrow against the Astros here at home. A lot of energy. The fan base going to give you some energy. I would imagine the White Sox definitely should win this game. I mean, but hey, this Astros team, I keep doubting them, and they just find ways to win. I mean, I don't want to say find ways to win. They're just so good. They're just so good. The lineup is just nasty. So have to wait and see what ends up happening. But let me know what you guys think. Who do you think will win Game 3 with the Astros and the White Sox? And there's also one thing to point out. Hey, Dusty Baker, while the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, had a 2-0 series lead against the San Francisco Giants. What was that, 2012, I believe? Had a 2-0 lead against the San Francisco Giants, and then the Giants ended up coming back in that series, ended up winning the whole thing. So, I don't know, Dusty Baker, can he help lead this team to a series win, not fall victim to a 2-0 series lead comeback? So, have to wait and see. But let's move on to the next game. We had the Braves and we had the Brewers. I mean, if you want a pitcher's duel, this was the spot to go to. You wanted to go to Milwaukee. I mean, this was a heck of a pitcher's duel. In the end, the Milwaukee Brewers and Corbin Burnes get the better of a Charlie Morton and the Atlanta Braves. I mean, just not a lot of offense. I mean, this, like I said, pitcher's duel all the way through. Both starters pitched great. In the end, Morton was the one that just came up short. He pitched fantastic in this game, but then Rowdy Tellez ended up being the difference maker. And Corbin Burnes, I mean, good grief. This guy, he had a few walks there, but he just wasn't giving up any hits. This guy was just nails for the Brewers yesterday. Awesome start for Corbin Burnes. Gotta love it. And then Rowdy Tellez just coming up big where it matters most. With this Brewers offense, this is kind of what you're going to see from this offense. Like, it's not a very strong lineup. You're going to have these guys come up big in timely spots, and that's exactly what they did. Rowdy Tellez, I mean, hey, what an acquisition he's been. He's been great. And hey, coming through with the big hit for the Brewers when it mattered most there in the bottom of the 7th. I was actually driving to the Rays Red Sox game last night and watching this game, and yeah, saw that, and I was like, wow. Hey, Rowdy Tellez coming up big. Gotta love that. Let's actually go pull up some Rowdy Tellez stats. Ended up going 1 for 3 in last night's game. Taking a look at the numbers with him. Where are the numbers? I don't want to look at postseason. Let's take a look at the regular season here. So with the Brewers this year, with Toronto, wasn't really doing anything, but then he went to Milwaukee. Ended up doing really good, man. 272 average, a 333 on base, 481 slugging for them. He was very good for the Milwaukee Brewers. So what a great acquisition for them. I mean, sure, they got Willy Adames, but Rowdy Tellez, hey, give them some credit for picking this guy up. I mean, this guy has been really solid for them. I feel like you hear more about them getting Willy Adames, but Rowdy Tellez has been just extremely solid as well. So and he came up big in a big spot. So we did see the Braves. That offense was coming alive there towards the end. They, got the Jock Peterson home run there in the 8th. And that's another spot where I'm a little worried with this Brewers team. And I'm not trying to sound negative. They won this game. But, this Braves lineup is so good. It feels like it's only a matter of time before they wake up here. And they were coming alive there in the 8th a little bit, off of Adrian Hauser out of the bullpen. I love the back end. I love a hater at the back end of the bullpen. I love the starters. I'm worried about the bridge. I'm worried about that middle relief. I'm worried about the setup crew. And they had Adrian Hauser come in for a couple of innings. So could that end up being something that we end up seeing here, games 2 and 3, where the Braves, I mean, this lineup is so good. I mean, I think that's going to be the key for the Brewers. They got to get that bridge to the back end of the bullpen solid. So Hauser, 2 innings, but gave up the home run to Peterson. So I think that's going to be the big difference in this series. I don't expect the Braves to sit down, sure, I can understand it against the Corbin Burnes. He's been fantastic. Brandon Woodruff, I think you can make some things happen against a Brandon Woodruff in Game 2. I have to wait and see with the Brewers. They played great baseball yesterday, having some good defense yesterday. And in the end, they came up with the big hit, and they were the ones that walked away with a Game 1 win. Have to wait and see what ends up happening in the next game. If we take a look at the pitching matchup here. Wow, we got over 100 people this morning. Awesome. Wow, I was not expecting over 100 people to come in this morning. Figured you guys are off doing whatever's going on for Saturday today. But hey, we got a good matchup here. This is going to be a lot of good starting pitching. Game 1, awesome matchup. Game 2, another really good matchup. Brandon Woodruff, Max Fried. Max Fried had himself a really good season too. So Brandon Woodruff, very solid this year. This is going to be another good pitching matchup. I could see maybe a couple more runs being scored, but overall, I still think you're going to get a couple of good pitching matchups. But the Braves need to wake up with this offense. That's going to be the big key because with this Brewers lineup, I don't think that it's not a very strong lineup in my opinion. So if you can get Fried to give you, a solid start, do enough against a Brandon Woodruff, the Braves could easily tie up this series. I could definitely see that happening, but we'll have to wait and see. Great matchup on, I believe this is on today. Yes, this is at 5 o'clock Eastern time today. So who is playing today? We got Dodgers. So only just 2 games today. 5 o'clock with the Brewers and the Braves, and then we got the Giants on tonight at 9 o'clock. So that was a lot of baseball yesterday. 4 games. Man. But let's get to the next game. And this is the one that I went to. My first ever postseason game. And it came up big for me. I've had a losing record this year. A losing record in live games. I've gone to 2 games this year. I went to the Rays and the Red Sox back in July. Rays just looked phenomenal in that game. Won that game. I went to Fenway Park against the Indians. Lost that game too. So I was 0-2 in the regular season. And I'm thinking, man, I don't know how this is going to go. The way the Rays looked in Game 1, and vice versa, the way the Red Sox looked, I was not looking. Of course, I'm always going to be optimistic as a Red Sox fan, but I've got to say, I wasn't feeling too great. And then, it's funny. If I've said this many times on this channel. If you don't know, I am a teacher. I had report cards due yesterday, and I was about to leave, and all of a sudden, I had to go fix something with my report cards, and I'm like, just already annoyed at that. I'm trying to get out the door, trying to drive the 2 hours to get to Tampa, and so I ended up getting to the game a little late yesterday. And traffic, of course, is just terrible, and right around that area. And so I knew I wasn't probably going to get a parking spot near the stadium. I knew that was not going to happen. So I decided to buy a parking pass in a parking garage around a mile away. Figured that was going to be the sure thing. Just get the sure parking spot. And then I get the parking spot. Didn't feel like it was like a 30-minute walk. I'm like, I'm not walking, so I'm gonna get an Uber. I got an Uber. Literally in the Uber while the game's, I'm watching the game on my phone, and Jordan Luplow grand slam right off the bat. I'm like, well, hey, at least I wasn't there live for that, because I guarantee that place, obviously, if you were watching it, got very loud. I'm sure it was a lot louder in person. So I'm very fortunate that I did not have to see that grand slam live. I did see it on my phone, but luckily I was still far away. Didn't have to experience that. But I ended up getting to the game right there. I believe it was like the top of the second, I feel like, or bottom of the second. Can't remember. It was definitely the second inning. But Chris Sale, he just didn't have it. And that's not a surprise. Chris Sale in the postseason has just not had great numbers. And this is a guy that's still, you got to remember, not Chris Sales. I want Chris Sales stats. But Chris Sale in the postseason has never been a good, sure thing. Sure, he had the big strikeout to end the 2018 World Series, but Chris Sale has never really had great numbers in the postseason. You got to remember, this is a guy that's still working his way back. from Tommy John. I've said this plenty of times. He needs to go into this offseason healthy. He needs to have a spring training next year. I don't think we're going to see the old Chris Sale until next year. So kind of not surprised, this happened yesterday. He ran into, just some trouble there. And, hey, that's kind of, I'm not surprised at that. But let's go look at his postseason stats. He's never really been great in the postseason. If you take a look at his 3 years in the postseason, he's had 8 games, 5 starts, a 7.27 ERA. He's never been good in the postseason. He's never really been great. Even if you just go to each round, going back to 2017, he was horrible in the postseason that year. 2018, sure, against the Yankees that year, he did fare pretty well. Against the Astros, he wasn't really effective at all. Take a look here. Just looking at these numbers, man, just not great. And then in the World Series, even then, he was still giving up some runs there, but he came up big when it mattered most against the Dodgers that year. But, hey, the trend kind of continues here. He's against this Rays team where that offense was just looking so good after Game 1. Not surprised to see that grand slam. But the Red Sox, I'm glad I missed the worst because I just got to see the best. That was amazing. All of these runs just coming up big when it mattered most. Kike Hernandez, holy cow, this guy was just getting hits left and right. It wasn't just hits, they were just solid contact hits. And I think that was actually the lineup move of the game. I think that this could end up being the lineup move of the series. You dropped Kike Hernandez down to the 2 spot. He led off in Game 1. And that offense was cold. And you moved Schwarber into the leadoff spot, but of course he ended up not really doing anything out of the leadoff spot. But I think taking Kike Hernandez out of that leadoff spot, putting him in the 2 hole, I think that took the pressure off of him. And look at what happened. Look at what happened here. This guy was amazing. 5 for 6 in that game, 3 RBIs as well, had a home run. I was going nuts on that home run, man. Absolutely nuts. But then Devers had a home run. Bogarts had a home run. Verdugo had a home run. JD Martinez had a home run. These guys were just all over the place. Look, the middle of this order right here. Phenomenal. Just good grief. Even Vasquez had himself a good game, 3 for 5. These Red Sox hitters were just out of their minds last night. The offense got started, and they just never let up. It's funny. Jared Carrabis, he tweeted out during this game, after the grand slam from Jordan Luplow, he tweeted out saying, hey, there's a lot of game left. And everyone was jumping on to him. Everyone. And, Jared Carrabis, he tends to get the last laugh a lot, man. So, yeah. And that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying in the car. I'm like, well, hey, grand slam, at least it's the first inning. You got 8 more innings of baseball to play. A lot can happen, and a lot did happen with this Red Sox lineup. And that is, if you want any situation going back to Fenway Park for Game 3, this is probably the best thing that you want. You got all the momentum going for you now. You're going back home. You got Nathan Eovaldi starting for Game 3, who's been just amazing in the postseason. Not just, the last start. He's always been really good in the postseason. And but speaking of pitching, I think you got to say, while all these offensive numbers look great, 5 for 6 from Kike, home run, Martinez 4 for 5, home run. The offense looked fantastic. But I think the player of the game, you got to give it to Tanner Houck. You got to give it to him because this is a guy, how funny is it too that Chris Sale, was the one that got the start, and then his counterpart from the right-hand side, Tanner Houck, Chris Sale, get a lot of comparisons a lot. And he came in to this game after Chris Sale, and he just held down the fort. Tanner Houck, I'm telling you, this kid's going to be special. He's still working his way, to being a complete pitcher in this game. He needs to go deeper into games, so on. But Tanner Houck in this game, he came in and as a young guy, just completely held this down. And not just held this game down, he held this Rays lineup down. You got to think, all the energy in the world with the Tampa Bay Rays, all the momentum, and he came in and just stifled them. He just made them look stupid on something. He had some strikeouts where the Rays were caught looking, and they were just like looking around like, what the heck was that? It was awesome to see. It was a pleasure to watch that. And Tanner Houck, whatever ends up happening in this series, that was an awesome performance. I mean, we had a lot of good pitching performances yesterday, and I feel like this one you're not really going to hear a lot about, just because, you know, how good Corbin Burnes looked, how good Logan Webb looked last night. We'll talk about that here in a second. But Tanner Houck, I'm not trying to be biased here, but, you know, whatever. I could be a fan of the Portland Pickles, which I am. But looking at how just what it meant, you know, obviously it was a good stat line, but just coming in that moment, and going 5 innings to hold it down, phenomenal. And you got to give a lot of credit here for Alex Cora as well. You got to remember Nick Pivetta, pitched in that game yesterday, and he really saved the bullpen. Nick Pivetta went almost 5 innings out of that bullpen yesterday. Sure, maybe didn't fare as well as the Tanner Houck did last night, but you got to think, that was big for Nick Pivetta in game 1. Really saved that bullpen. And then Tanner Houck coming in here, you got 1 inning from Chris Sale. And then Tanner Houck coming in for 5, that saved the bullpen again. Awesome. Gotta love it. Brazier came in. Robles came in. Ryan Brazier striking out the side. Robles coming in with a couple of Ks. Barnes looked a little iffy there at the end. I'm sitting there watching this game at the end, and Barnes, I don't know what it is with Barnes. That ball, sure, it's coming in maybe 94, 95, but it doesn't hit the mitt as hard. You know that sound when the ball just hits the mitt and it's just popping? It's weird with him how 94, 95, it's not popping that mitt. I don't know what it is. These hitters are in the second half are just seeing him really well. I don't know what it is with a Matt Barnes, man. It's I don't know. I'm a little worried about him, and he came in with a big lead, and he was still having trouble walking guys. Just didn't have that presence. When you look at him on this mound, lately, going back to the second half, just not. He doesn't have a presence out there. I don't know what it is. Like he's got to figure something out. He's got to figure it out quick, because he's going to be a big important piece of if the Red Sox go on to do anything. He needs to figure this out. As for the Rays, let me talk about the Rays here for a second. Of course, the Red Sox, amazing game. But I do want to give some love for the Tampa Bay Rays. Like I said, Jordan Luplow with the grand slam, and what a Rays kind of a move. They pinch hit for a Luplow after a grand slam. I thought that was kind of hilarious, honestly. But that's what the Rays do. They play according to what the analytics tell them. They thought, hey, Jordan Luplow, he came in, he got the big home run off of Sale, but we think, Ji-Man Choi, he's going to be the better option moving forward. We're going to go Ji-Man Choi the rest of this game. I just thought that was kind of hilarious to me. But that's what the Rays do. They go to their game, they play to their game, and Jordan Luplow, even after a grand slam, hitting the bench, and Ji-Man Choi. And obviously in that department, it worked out. He went 2 for 3 after him. So you got to love that. Franco went 2 for 5. Just overall, it was the Tanner Houck show against the Rays, and they just couldn't do anything against him. So that's going to be something the Rays are going to have to do. They're going to have to, if they get off to a good start, they're going to have to keep it going. And I'm not saying you got to go out there and keep hitting grand slams and home runs and whatever. They just got to find a way. They could not find a way to keep the pressure on a Tanner Houck, especially coming in to just such an environment like that. They got to find a way to keep the pressure on. So, hey, the Tampa Bay Rays, they are that good. And I expect them to not miss a beat in Game 3. I expect this Tampa Bay Rays team to come out strong, and I think you're going to see a good game from them. Unfortunately, just the pitching didn't really come through. You had Boz, come in, but they got hit around a little bit. And I was saying that after Game 1. I was saying the Red Sox, they needed to come out and they needed to be aggressive against Boz. A young kid, great stuff, And kudos to the Rays. I love the Rays, not being scared of throwing in these young guys in these situations. I'm a big fan. But overall, the Red Sox did what they needed to do against him. They got 6 hits off of him. Colin McHugh did not look as sharp. This is a guy that's looked very sharp at times this year for the Rays. Doesn't rely on velocity. The guy's just got stupid movement on his pitches, but he looked hittable yesterday. Just all these guys. Waka came in. I guarantee you're not going to see Waka anymore in this series. That dude got pummeled. Almost 3 innings of work. Gave up 9 hits overall. But you know what? I could at least give some credit for Waka. This guy basically, he took it on the chin, for the Rays bullpen yesterday. They left him in there as long as they could, but he was just getting hit so hard. But you could think maybe this ends up being a good move for the Rays bullpen. It really kind of saves some innings there. I mean, I know they got arms for days in that bullpen, but Waka, he took a lot of that pummeling, and I think that could end up being a pretty good move. It saved a lot of innings, or saved at least a couple of innings from the other pitchers in that bullpen. So, again, I expect the Rays to come out, and I think they're going to have a good Game 3. But the Red Sox, they got a lot of momentum right now. If we go take a look at Game 3, you got Nathan Eovaldi going Game 3. Good grief. Let's actually look at Nathan Eovaldi's postseason numbers before I move on to the last game that we're going to talk about for today. Nathan Eovaldi, let's look at his postseason numbers, because this guy's just been stupid good. Over 7 games, 3 starts, 27 innings in the postseason. We got to think. He basically had a start against that Dodgers team, in the 28. Richard, just subscribed. Welcome to the channel, my friend. If anyone else is subscribed, welcome to the channel. I haven't really looked. Sorry about that. But Richard, thank you so much. Nathan Eovaldi, if you go back to that 7-inning performance out of the bullpen, you got to think that kind of, sure, it was out of the bullpen. It was a relief role, but you got to think I would count it as a start, honestly. But either way, 1.63 ERA. This guy's just been nails in the postseason. I don't know what it is. Another gear comes on for Nathan Eovaldi in the postseason. It's just it's a treat to see, and he just did really good the other night against the Yankees. I expect a lot of the same from Nathan Eovaldi against the Rays here. Let's actually go take a look at his splits from this year. Let's see how he did against the Tampa Bay Rays. So he's going to be at home. Let's actually see how has he pitched at home. At home, he's definitely been better at home through 19 starts, a 3.47 ERA there. And let's see how he's done against the Rays. Against the Rays, he's pitched really well against the Rays this year. 2-1, a 2.39 ERA over 4 starts. So this is a great chance for the Red Sox here. I think the Rays, if they won that game yesterday, I think this series would be over. But now, Adam Gregory, welcome to the channel, my friend. But now the Red Sox have a chance to take a lead here. They got a chance. And this is as good of a spot that you want to be in. You got all the momentum. You're going home. You got Nathan Eovaldi on the mound, who's pitched better at home, and he's pitched better against the Rays, and he's just been nails in the postseason. This is a great spot for the Red Sox here. Who knows what the Rays end up doing? Of course, you're going to have some kind of an opener. Do you go with a Yarbrough? We'll have to wait and see. But let's talk about who I think was the player of the day yesterday. Logan Webb. Logan Webb, absolutely phenomenal. First postseason start. He went into the 8th inning. He struck out 10 Dodgers. Holy cow, Logan Webb. I was kind of half right. I thought this was going to be like a legendary pitcher's duel in this game yesterday. I thought Buehler was going to be awesome in this start. I knew Logan Webb was going to be really good. I called that. I was like, Logan Webb's going to pitch his butt off. And I thought Logan Webb, I was thinking, man, this is a guy coming into this start. He runs off of adrenaline. He's just been so good for the Giants this year, especially in the second half. He was their best pitcher in the second half. And I thought this was a guy that could have come in here, complete game. I thought he had that potential. And he got pretty darn close, I'll say that. You got to think, man, what an outing here. What an outing. How many pitches? He threw 92 pitches. So He had a chance to go a complete game if they really wanted him to, but they decided to go with Rogers there, to get that last out in the 8th. And then Duvall ended up coming in. This guy's just been nails for the Giants. What else is there to say? It was just a phenomenal pitching performance from Logan Webb. A couple of guys from the bullpen coming in, locking it down. The Dodgers, they didn't have a bad game overall. You got a solid start out of a Walker Buehler. In the end, Logan Webb was just that much better. Vesia did give up a run there, but overall, not a bad game from the Dodgers. The pitching, but just the offense. I mean, you just couldn't do anything against Logan Webb. There was no beating Logan Webb yesterday. They left 12 guys on. Sure, they had a couple of good games. Betts went 2 for 4. Will Smith went 2 for 4. But other than that, you had 5 hits from 3 of your guys. So these other guys, they're going to have to figure it out here for game 2. Trey Turner, really quiet in this game yesterday. Left 3 on. He struck out 2. Justin Turner, very quiet. Beatty, quiet. Pollock, Bellinger, if they can find a way for this guy to, come alive. He came alive in that wild card game a little bit. He kind of did a little bit of everything. And he looked really good in that wild card game against the Cardinals. But they're going to need him, to. I know it's been a tough season for him, but man, if they can get something out of him, that's going to be good. But they definitely need, the Turners to step it up in game 2, going 0 for 8 combined. They got to figure that out there. But for the Giants on the offensive side, hey, Buster Posey getting it started right away. Buster Posey, man. Love me some Buster Posey. This is one of my favorite players in all of Major League Baseball. Coming back in a big way. He's had a big season for the Giants, and he just keeps it going here. Chris Bryant, where Fuzzy tweeted out yesterday, the most handsome man in all of Major League Baseball. Well, he looked quite handsome here in the bottom of the 7th with a home run, giving the 3-0 lead. Brandon Crawford, just being Brandon Crawford, just being so solid, adding on to the offense there. And that was really, honestly, really wasn't much to this game. You just had Logan Webb, you had a few home runs, and that's all there was to it. The Giants, you're getting off to a great start, man. I picked the Giants to win this series, and even with everyone, it feels like on the planet, well, maybe not everyone on the planet, everyone that's not in San Francisco, it seems, most people are picking the Dodgers to win this series. Betting odds have the Dodgers winning the World Series. Fangraphs has the Dodgers winning the World Series. They give them the biggest % chance to win. I'm still going with this Giants team because they do a little bit of everything. They come up big when it matters most. They got great starting pitching. It's the bullpen has just been great. Overall, if you're a Giants fan, you gotta love what's going on here. You gotta love what's going on. Logan Webb. I just love me some Logan Webb, man. One of my favorite pitchers in the game. He's just been fantastic. I remember going back to last offseason. I'm like, man, this guy's got a filthy changeup. Can people talk more about Logan Webb? And hey, he's really bringing it when it matters most. Let's go take a look at game 2, which is going to be on tonight. Oh, we got a super chat from Cool Jags. What's up, Robbie? Hope you're doing good. I am doing good. I'm a little tired. Came back late last night, but we're doing all right. Got the Astros sweeping, Rays winning in 5, Giants in 4, and Brewers sweeping. Yeah, I definitely think this Rays-Red Sox series, it could definitely go 5 now. With the way the Red Sox responded in game 2, this could definitely be a 5-game series. I was wondering if maybe this could be, a pretty short series after game 1, looking at how that looked on both sides. And I definitely think this could go 5 now. The Astros, I would think it's crazy if the Astros end up sweeping. If the White Sox go down that easily, I'm going to be shocked, honestly. But then again, I don't know. This Astros team is so good. So you definitely could be onto something there. Giants in 4. How crazy would it be if the Giants end up winning this series against a really good Dodgers team in less than 5 games? I'm picking the Giants to win this series. I got 5 games. But that's just because of how good the Dodgers are. I will find that nuts if the Giants end up winning this in 4 games. But hey, they are that good. They are that good. And the Brewers, man, if they sweep and that Braves offense ends up doing nothing, which, no, it wouldn't be a huge surprise to me considering how good that starting pitching is. for the Milwaukee Brewers. But man, you got to think the Braves are going to come up with a little bit of offense somewhere, at least somewhere against that bullpen. Hey, we got another super chat. Cool Jags, thank you so much. Sat M with a $5 super chat made a $100 bet on the Giants to win the World Series at the start of the year, in position to win $6,000. Whoa! Let's go! Let's go! I hope you win that, man. I hope you win it. They were actually talking about. I think it was. Well, I don't remember who. Whatever. It was something to do with the people in Vegas with the betting odds, saying they're kind of scared of this postseason because they're going to lose a lot of money. So because a lot of people picking the Dodgers, and a lot of people are going to be losing some money. But it looks like Sat M, based off of how Logan Webb looked, I mean, you could be onto something here. I wish you the best, my friend. I wish you the best. But yeah, overall, Giants just looking really solid. Just doing good everywhere. Pitching, played some good defense yesterday as well. Also, give some credit to Tommy La Stella. He had a good defensive play yesterday in that game. But hey, he looked pretty good himself. Overall, out of the leadoff spot, 2 hits out of the leadoff spot, had a walk. So Tommy La Stella, man, give him some credit. Gotta love what he's doing. But game 2. We got a good pitching matchup. We got Kevin Gausman. We got Julio Urias. This is going to be a good one. So let's actually go take a look at how these two teams have fared. Let's go take a look here at Julio Urias. What is going on? So Julio Urias, let's take a look at his splits. Don't forget, this guy, he closed out the World Series last year, and now he's getting a start here in the division round. But against the Giants, actually, how's he done on the road? He's just been winning games all year, it seems. But on the road, he's actually very good. He's actually better on the road. 13-2 on the road, a 2.71 ERA. And then against the Giants, he's been solid. Hey, 3.38 ERA over those 5 starts. So, Julio Urias definitely in a good position here. And then Kevin Gausman, on the other hand. Kevin Gausman, let's take a look at your splits. Alrighty, so at home, he's 6-4. He actually does better on the road as well. So 6-4, 3.44 ERA. Let's take a look. I will point this out as well. First half, he was really good. He was really good in the first half. He kind of seemed like a pretty average guy in the second half, and that's what ended up being the decision for a Game 1, Game 2, going with a Logan Webb in Game 1. That ended up, this second half from Gausman and how good Logan Webb was in the second half, that ended up being the deciding factor in who got these starts. But Gausman's second half, he's been more average, honestly. He's been more average. But taking a look against the Giants this year, against the Dodgers, sorry. The Dodgers. So 3 starts against the Dodgers, 3.21 ERA. Don't like all those walks. 8 walks in 14 innings against them. I don't know. If I were to kind of go with someone here, I feel like you got to lean towards Julio Urias in this. I mean, the Dodgers need a win here. I think, in my personal opinion, I feel like this is just going to be a really close series. You just got to think the Dodgers are going to come back here in this game. Julio Urias has been just really good. He's really good on the road. So I think this could end up being a good game for the Dodgers. But hey, could Kevin Gausman bounce back and then give the Giants a 2-0 series lead heading back to LA? But yeah, so Kevin Gausman, Julio Urias, it's going to be a really good matchup. And yeah, I think this is going to be a good series. We had a lot of good baseball on yesterday. Overall, what a game last night, getting to go to my first ever postseason game. Got there a little late, but at least it ended up working out in my favor. Didn't have to see, that grand slam, from a Jordan Luplow. And, man, I couldn't have asked for a better game to go to. That was probably, in overall, that probably might have been the best game I've ever been to. You know, not even considering the postseason. You know, just the performance in itself. I feel like this might have been the best game I've ever been to. I've been to, I'm thinking of one in 2006 where they scored a lot against the A's, but not like this. Kara Hightower, $5 super chat. Regarding leaving Crochet in to face Yuli, aren't they required to face a minimum of 3 batters? Oh, that's right. I always forget about that. But either way, you could look at it from this point of view too. You bring him in to face the lefty. Let's go back to the box score here. Thank you for the super chat. Let's take a look. I always forget about that 3 batter minimum, man. I'm so used to that, not that. That's, man, just that always throws me off. Thank you for pointing that out for me. But let's kind of go back to that situation there where, let's take a look here. Let's go to the plays. So that was in the 5th inning. All right, so going back to this situation. So you had 1 out. You had 1 out here. So I can look at it in this way where you had 1 out. I don't know. It's a tough situation. I'm not going to sit here and say it's an easy situation, but I don't know. I look at it from a point of view. Let's say you had 2 outs. I would be more likely to go in that route, you know, with the lefty-lefty matchup, but you still had the 1 out. You knew Gurriel was going to come up after that. And yeah, I think when you, with this 3 batter minimum, you have to it kind of forces you to look ahead in that lineup a little bit. It forces you to have to be like, all right, we know this guy's coming up, but who's the next guy coming up? Who's the next guy? And the fact that, you know, you're bringing in a Crochet, and granted, he's been good this year. I know that. He has been good. But then you're going up against one of just the best hitters in the game in just a key situation like that. I don't know. I get it. I do get it. And Alvarez has been good. I mean, it's a tough situation no matter what, and I understand that. I personally just wouldn't have gone with a Crochet there. Especially when you got to go with a 3 batter minimum. I don't know. I'm more scared of a Yuli Gurriel in that situation. Alvarez has been great, but I feel like, you know, in a key spot like that with such a good hitter in a Gurriel, I don't know, but Alvarez has been good too. This is tough. The Astros, you know, let's just say this. The Astros are just too good. They're just so good. That's the end of that's pretty much the end all be all right there. They're just so good. What can you do? But everyone, I'm going to get out of here. I am going to let you all get on with your Saturday plans. Just kind of wanted to go over everything, you know, from yesterday. I wanted to last night, but there was no way. I got back at like 2:30 in the morning. Not going to happen. But just wanted to come on, talk some baseball this morning with you all. So we got 2 games on today. We got the Braves. We got the Braves and the Brewers, Giants, Dodgers tonight. So might go live later on tonight. We'll see how late that game goes. If not tonight, it will be tomorrow morning. So be on the lookout. But everyone, that's all I have. Have yourself a good Saturday today. Enjoy your day, and I'll talk to you next time.